Good morning. When you read any book on econometrics, basic econometric course, you are always confronted with certain kinds of statements which are crucial, they are explained, and they are usually explained in these terms. It is claimed that we fix the line, that means we fit the line between observed y and x. Of these, x are supposed to be fixed. So first try to understand what is really meant by x being fixed. They are fixed in the sense that we observe different y for the same value of xi theoretically. Even though you might have in a given sample only y value, one y value, theoretically we are in fact fixing some fixed xi, and that for that fixed xi you are likely to get some variation in the values of y, and that is something what we can call as distribution of y given x. And that's the reason why we often talk about conditional mean of y for a given x. X is fixed. Now what does it mean by being fixed? For example, in economics, we can say that find out people who have got, or the households who have got the income which is 10,000 rupees per month. So I take several such households, theoretically speaking. Maybe in the sample you might have only one, but theoretically speaking, I take several 10,000 rupees per month income as a household and ask them how much do they spend. So consumer expenditure, the y variable, and income, the x variable, of which income value is fixed. Then we move to the next income value, for example 15,000, then 20,000, and so on. So these values for which we are going to observe x are in a way fixed. Actually, this notion comes from design of experiment kind of setup, where we say that we apply so much fertilizer dose for a given fertilizer type to a particular crop and observe its yield. So I can have several plots, or I can have only one plot, and then I can say that so much is a fertilizer dose, so much is a crop yield. I increase the fertilizer dose and I get so much of the yield, and so on. So that's what we mean by x being fixed. In reality, when you deal with real world data, x is not always necessarily fixed in the same sense as being controlled one. In experimentation, you can do it controlled one, but in social sciences, in many survey data, x is not necessarily fixed in the same sense as it is often in many design of experiment kind of setup. But that's the notion which is actually underlying in the regression analysis. So we say that xi are fixed, and for a given xi, we observe several possible y, just like saying people with 10,000 rupees as the monthly income, households with 10,000 rupees as monthly income, have consumer expenditures. Is it necessarily same? No, it varies. Why and how much does it vary? It depends on variety of factors. If you can list those factors, include them. If you don't know them, then we can say that for 10,000 rupees as the household per month income, there is some mean income which they spend, and the actually observed values of y would be in some sense distributed around that mean value. Obviously, that mean value will be pertaining to a fixed value of x. That's why such kind of a mean is called conditional mean of y for a given x. So that's the meaning of what is meant by x are fixed, and this plays certain role when we later see in the example. It in some sense indirectly interacts with the way in which error terms are going to exercise impact on the estimates that we make. Then the next claim is that y are observed for the fixed xi and contain error and stochastic term. In fact, this is manifest, it's obvious when we write yi is equal to, say, alpha plus beta xi plus ui. That means y value is not going to have only linear relationship with x alone, but is going to have one more additional variable contained in it, which is stochastic in nature, which is often called disturbance term or error term. So y value is dependent on both x and u. But we also have an important assumption that error terms are not related with xi. What does it mean? the way in which error term behaves. Now, what do we mean by error term behaving in the statistical sense? It means A, we have to look at its mean, and if we are going to look at it means, we are going to look at its variance. When we say that x and error term are not related, that means if x is higher or lower, error term is not going to be accordingly either higher or lower. It has nothing to do with x. Similarly, that means its mean value is not going to be dependent on x, number one, and two, whatever be the value of x, the extent of spread that you get of error term might as well vary. Herein comes another implicit assumption, and that implicit assumption is that not only error term is unrelated with x, but it also has same variability irrespective of level of x. And this is what is often called in econometric textbooks as assumption of homoscedasticity. Homo means same, something like from homogeneous or homomorphic, and scedastic means being scattered. So the error terms are scattered in the same sense. Now, if you want to understand what does it really mean in graphical terms, look at these two. They have more or less the same variance. But if you look at this, the variance is much greater, the spread is much greater. And this spread around the expected value of y for a given x is much larger than in this case. That means maybe the mean values of these variances associated with different xi are same, say for example 0, but its variabilities differ. When the variabilities of the error term linked with the so-called explanatory variable, namely x, is varying, then it is called heteroscedastic variances. In fact, heteroscedastic variances is a real closer fact, closer to life. But to begin with, we build up a model where the complications arising out of the variability of the error term variance are first avoided. Then we can incorporate, in fact, the effect of variability of the variance itself is going to have, which in some sense again gets related with x if at all there is some pattern of the increase or decrease in the variance term of the stochastic term related with x. And we will subsequently see when we talk about violation of these assumptions. What is the assumption? The assumption is, first, error terms are not related with x. They occur with the same finite mean, usually 0, and finite variance, some sigma square, and that does not change at all. Whether we are looking at mean income of 10,000 or 50,000, the variability associated with the consumer expenditure, which causes consumer expenditure to vary according to the random term, that variability induced by the random term remains same. That's what we mean by homoscedasticity. There is one more assumption. The error term, which is not only independent of x, but each error impact that you get in any y of value that you are going to observe for any given x value are not related among themselves. And this is usually called zero autocorrelation. That means the error terms among themselves are not correlated. Even this is not something which is very realistic, in the sense that, for example, the kind of a short-term impact that would be observed on the first day of the market and the next day of the market, the shock term would probably of the second day will be conditioned by the kind of shock it received on the first day. So, to talk about error term where the error terms are themselves related is called autocorrelation. To begin with, again, to build a simple model, we presume that error terms are in this sense not correlated with each other. Theoretically speaking, this is called, in the statistical theory sense, it is called error terms are independent of each other. Because they are independent, they don't have covariance, their covariance is 0, and that's what we generally call, as in common parlance, as being uncorrelated. So this is the kind of a graph which you will typically find where you will find in the first linear assumptions, the linear model assumptions that are explained, you will find the variances are to be the same. I have just illustrated here what does it mean to have varying variance of the error term, which we are going to revisit when we are going to deal with heteroscedasticity. Okay? So this is the setup with which the classical linear model is generally introduced in the textbook. What we are going to see in this lecture today is, when we draw a picture like this, there are infinitely possible error terms that are possible, which come from the same distribution, shape of the distribution, frequency distribution of the error term, which is with zero mean and finite constant variance. But imagining so many infinite number of error terms associated with one x, it's something which requires a fair deal of familiarity with the way in which statistical distributions are conceived. The easiest way to begin with, therefore, is to think of only two possible error terms associated with two fixed values of x. So we will reduce this problem, which is generally stated as an assumption, to a simplest case where we don't talk about infinite possible values of error term associated with given x. And similarly, the same variability of the error term and the same mean with another x, fixed value of x. How this affects or how this impacts the way we construct the estimate of relationship between y and x, namely through intercept and the slope term. We will see this interaction, the way in which they happen to interact potentially, and some of the interaction which is ruled out by choosing the suitable assumptions, like for example, fixed variance of the error term, fixed zero mean for the error term, and error terms not being associated with x at all and not being associated among themselves at all. These are all the setups with which the classical linear model are usually explained in the beginning chapters of most of the standard econometrics texts. So we will try to understand what it really means with the help of a simplified picture, where instead of thinking of infinitely possible error terms, which gives you this kind of a spread of a normal distribution everywhere, let us think of only very limited finite values of error terms for some fixed terms of x, because that happens to be our first assumption that we are going to observe it for a controlled variable. That means x1, x2, x3, etc. are fixed. So let us consider only two values of x and only two possible values of error term. So it would become easier to imagine this picture, which is a generalization of this simple 2 by 2 kind of an experiment, meaning thereby only two possible values of error terms and only two possible fixed values of x, which together define what is really meant by the value of y. Because as you can evidently, this model that we estimate implies this, that value of y is a combined effect of its linear relationship with x and some error term added to it. So how these together impact the estimate of y, and how in turn therefore the estimated value of slope that we are going to construct is affected. So instead of imagining infinite number of possible values and some random selection taken from normal distribution, let us reduce that problem to a very small finite kind of a numerical example, so that it becomes easier to imagine what it really means. There is something more that we are going to do. Namely, we are going to now try out the way of estimating slope with a slightly different formula. That means slightly different estimator. And given the nature of error terms and the nature of xi values at hand, how and to what extent the estimate of the slope, for example, will vary. It's something that we can derive once we have the information about given fixed xi values and pre-known given random term values. So this is something that we are going to see. So we will see how a slightly different, though related, but slightly different form of estimator, different kind of a formula. Given that formula, we can ask the question, is this formula going to satisfy the properties that we usually boast about, that we usually talk about in OLS case, that is ordinary least square case? Namely, it is unbiased, it is linear, and it has got the least variance. So if we abandon OLS and get formula which may be similar, parallel to OLS, but not exactly same thing as OLS, does it fulfill the same properties? This is something that we are going to see, and how the distribution of such kind of a proposed formula can be derived once we have got data on the nature of error terms and the nature of xi. This is something that we will be doing in the coming lecture. So these are the two parts of this lecture. First we will see how the knowledge of simple two error terms, possible error terms, and for two given fixed values of xi, what kind of a situation emerges, what kind of y, and therefore implicitly what kind of estimate of beta emerges, and how it is linked with x and u and their potential, all potential combinations. So this is the purpose of this lecture, this is the primary focus of this lecture, and that's what we are going to see. Let us start with the numerical example. I will now write the numerical example.